Good morning. It is the morning break. I am Rob Patz, and it is good to be here. Do you feel like it's fall? Could that be the overview of today's show? We're going to talk about things that happen in the fall. I want to thank you so much, by the way. Thank you so much, every one of you that have been watching. It boggles me, actually, to be honest, to see how many people have been watching the morning break. You like the weather? I do. I like the weather down there. Foreshadowing of today, are we talking about fall? You look at some of the weather forecasts from around the country, and it kind of looks like it. I mean, you look at that and you go, wow, that really, doesn't it kind of look cold? It does. I mean, it's cooler, cold. Well, the hot weather that we've had over the last couple of weeks, or actually about a month and a half here in Ohio, feeling cooler is awesome. And so I think for me, that's kind of the thing. I like this weather. I love this time of year. By the way, I watched this guy. See, I've got a pen, and I was going to tell you about this. So I was watching this guy on video today, and I'm not sure I believe him because, or maybe I've been this way my whole life. He said if you're fidgeting with a pen, that you're like insecure, and I am not an insecure person. At least I don't think I am. Who knows? Maybe I have been an insecure person my whole life, and I didn't know it. But he said you fiddle with your pen, or that you're distracted. I just always like to have a pen, especially in meetings. I'll always have a pen, and maybe it's something he went on to talk about all kinds of things that I really wasn't paying super close attention to be honest with you. But he was talking about, what do you do with your pen, and do you stare directly at the people the whole time? Not if I'm taking notes. Goodness. I mean, I'm not gonna, if I'm taking notes, I am not staring at you completely. I will look at you. So everybody has a different opinion about that kind of stuff. But thank you again so much, by the way, for tuning in. What started, and I like to say this because it's so true. What started as something that was going to be one day a week on radio, that was literally all it was going to be, was one day a week on radio. And here we are. Just a little over a week now of doing it every day. I want to remind you, tomorrow I will not be here, but I will be here. It's one of those things. I will be here, but not be here. I'll be here at 10 a.m. with my buddy Jason Webb. We do a show called Thrive, and it's very cool. I have to tell you, it's a fun show. Tomorrow's going to be a great episode. Join us 10 a.m. across social media, and then you can, of course, see it the next day on Abundant TV at noon Eastern time on Abundant TV. And of course, you don't know what Abundant TV is. Abundant TV is a neat Christian network that my wife and I started just a little over 3 years ago. You can find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. And of course, also, and my wife likes to say this, you can also find us on your phone in the Apple Store and also in Google, and for your Android phones, which I have to tell you, so I heard this about a year ago, and I'd love to get your opinion. If you have an opinion on this, post a comment about it. So about a year ago, I am in a meeting, and for those of you that don't know, my company helps Christian ministries and Christian organizations do television, radio, and now podcasting. And so I was in a meeting little over a year ago, and this kind of blew me away until I did the research on it. And you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe this person that told me. You don't have to even believe the research. But it was shocking to me that a majority of the world, besides the United States, are very much Android people. So here in the US, we are predominantly, and I believe it's over 65% of people that have a phone have a Apple product of some sort, whether it's a brand new one or a used, older one. But if you look around the world, that's far from the truth. And in fact, it's a majority. About, I think if I remember right from my research, it was like 71% of people around the world have Android phones. And we talked about that the other day, and I talked about my Note 7, which I got some response on that. And I was really, it was funny because people remember it, and I do. And I remember kind of just thinking I was going to be cool, and it wasn't. And it, of course, turned out to be a mess and had to give it back. Hey, listen, we appreciate the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. If you haven't ordered coffee from 7 Weeks Coffee yet, you should. Go to 7weekscoffee.com, use the promo code ATV10, and in fact, we'll be back right after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Seven Weeks Coffee. And hey, listen, appreciate you. For some reason, by the way, I was looking at social media, and for some reason, it says the morning break is from the 18th, which is not truth. It is today, just so you know. It is live right now on Wednesday. And it's 7 Weeks Coffee. Great folks there. I just love to do that. It reminds me of my days. And they don't do this anymore. By the way, if you notice, and if you notice and you watch news now, rarely your old school people still have papers, but most everybody's got an iPad now and are doing it via that. In fact, at the end of my time, we were using iPads, and it was fun. It was one of those things you just kind of went, this is neat. But hey, listen, you know what? This week, if you have been following social media at all, you realize it is back to school time. What was your favorite part of going back to school? and I was asked this question, by the way, and that's why I thought I'd ask you guys. By the way, it's back to school time. You've, of course, probably seen all the pictures, which are super cool. But I was asked that question this week. So what was your favorite part about going back to school? And I said the only thing I could come up with was the clothes. I'm serious. It was the only thing I could think of. I didn't like going to school. I was not one of those kids that liked school. Now, was I a good student? No, I wasn't. I was above average, but I didn't do my schoolwork. And he used to drive, and we'll go off on this just really quick. So he used to drive the teachers crazy because I would come in and take the test and get 100%, but I wouldn't turn my homework in. And back then, they couldn't fail you because tests weighted so heavily on your grades. They couldn't fail me, and I just didn't like doing homework. And I look back on it now, and I wished I had. I wished I'd taken the time to actually do some of my homework. I think I would. I don't know what that would have changed. I think of that because this is what I really believe God's called me to do. And so I don't think it would have changed my career per se, but I think it would have changed maybe my work ethic, my study habits, and things like that. I don't know, but I was too busy doing exactly what I just scrolled across the bottom. I was checking scores for baseball, especially in the fall. Of course, I played football, so we were into practices. Probably first game of the year was probably this week, and it was always exciting, especially got to high school. By the way, shout out to all the teams. Hey, listen, if your son is playing in football this weekend, shoot a picture, and Monday I'm going to ask you about it so that you can post it on our social media. Would love to see your son's playing, or maybe your daughter's a cheerleader in football season. Of course, football, big deal here in Ohio, where now living. I'm not from here. I'm originally from Minnesota, for those of you that are wondering. Lived in Seattle most of my life, and then moved here to the great state of Ohio. And football is big here. My wife and I had this discussion the other day. I said, I would have loved to have played football, high school football here in Ohio. It's just a different vibe. We live in Defiance, Ohio, and Defiance Napoleon, huge game every year. It was so neat. I was doing some consulting locally for a couple years for a TV station, and I got to experience high school football at what arguably, and if you're from Texas, don't come at me, okay? Don't come at me if you're from Texas. But arguably one of the best atmospheres I have ever been around was Ohio football. Enjoyed a few games that way, different locations. Of course, got to give a shout out. My wife went to Tenora Rams, and they've actually got a good team this year. For those of you that follow Ohio football, and you should. By the way, did you order your 7 weeks coffee? So the thing last week, and if you didn't watch on YouTube, and you should have, the thing last week we talked about was I don't change my cup every day. I don't. I kind of like the seasoned feel of my cup. It's what I do. Hey, listen, we wanted to talk to you about something that is really neat that Chris and I are doing. We're starting a thing called Abundant Groups, and it's going to be kind of a Bible study, a time of fellowship, a time to be together, and we want you to be a part of that. So be watching our social media. We're going to have places for you to sign up. It's going to be done via Zoom. We've got a great team already in place as we get ready to start these Bible studies. We call them abundant groups because truly, Kristen and I believe that you need to go out and live an abundant life. We say that every week on our show. We believe that as Christians, we shouldn't live woe is me Christianity. Gonna talk for just a second, and then I'll move on. But we live in a society now where there is a huge amount of pastors and people in the church who want to live with a woe is me attitude. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is no, it's not. Come on, man. It's not. Life isn't that way. Anyway, I it's just my thing. And I don't get me off on that. I'll start going into a long thing, but don't be a woe is me person. Join us for our abundant groups. We have some great Bible study stuff going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm excited about that. And talked about social media. You can find about social media. Find us on social media. Find us on this brand new. We are one of the corporate sponsors for Axe Social. Not me personally, but Abundant TV is. If you've not heard about it, you should. Axe Social is a great network. Are you tired of being on places where, well, you don't feel like you can share who you really are? Well, it is a Christian-based network. Axe Social is super, super neat. Been there a couple of weeks as they go through a launch process. You can follow the QR code right there, or you can go to axsocial.com and sign up. When they ask for a referral, make sure you mention Abundant TV or ATV. We are over there. Both Kristen and I are, and it's super neat. It's a lot of fun. Go to axsocial.com. use the referral. And when you referral, use ATV. And we appreciate we're one of their corporate sponsors, along with Hobby Lobby, Chick-fil-A, and a couple other places that have really gotten behind, you know, I'll tell you this, and I'm on a lot of different social platforms. I'm on every one of them, including TikTok, which you can see me on there quite often, doing lives and stuff like that. But I will tell you this, it is a different atmosphere when you are on a place like Axe Social. And so appreciate the folks at Axe Social. Sean and the great team there have done a fantastic job. And one reason why we stepped up and became a corporate sponsor for Axe Social. So when you get there, make sure you find me on there and Kristen, and then you make sure you sign up for the Abundant group, it's called, and it's going to be a great place for you to find all stuff going on, including what I've talked about today with the Bible studies, or what we call abundant groups. And I appreciate each and every one of you. By the way, I was going to say this before we move on to our next story for today. I really appreciate each and every one of you who have been sharing my video. It blows me away. Now I share it, of course, because I like to have people know what I'm doing, but it really blows me away when I look at what people are doing and people that are sharing. And it does. It's like, this is really neat. It's very humbling. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't expect that when we started it. In fact, I was kind of like one of those people that went, I don't know. Is it going to be something that's interesting? Are people going to want to watch something like this? So we look at the weather again, weather tracker goes across, and you look at the weather forecast. And yes, you have to remember it is still August, but pumpkin spice is back. For those that love pumpkin spice, is it a hype thing? I got to be honest with you. Is pumpkin spice really a hype thing? Both Starbucks and Dunkin' have kicked off their pumpkin spice stuff early this year. Now, I believe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, it used to be that you didn't get pumpkin spice lattes, especially at Starbucks. And again, could be completely wrong, and correct me if I am, that it wasn't until after Labor Day. But you can get it at your favorite drinking establishment, whether it's Starbucks or Dunkin'. And do you think it's too early? Do you really do? I mean, is it kind of, though? Have we become, and this is interesting, and I'm going to toss this out at you because with Christmas in July now, have we become people that say we love summer, but really internally we're all excited about fall and winter? I don't know. I mean, it's just something I was thinking about, and I was like, I wonder if really technically we've all got kind of excited about it because it's holiday season. We've got, Thanksgiving coming up. You've got Halloween coming up, and you've got Christmas coming up, all in, kind of rapid fire. And so I don't know. And of course, Labor Day. Hey, what are you doing for Labor Day? My wife and I are going. Of course, we talked about this on the show. My wife and I are going to go to Mackinac Island, and it's going to be exciting. Now you're probably saying, Rob, pump the whole brakes on all of this stuff because Little League World Series is going on right now in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Have you watched any of this? It is so cool. It brings me back to when I was younger, and I felt good. You feel like you're just like excited about life and about everything going on. And of course, there's a tracker for the scores last night. Tigers won, by the way, and the Mariners lost. Those are the two games that, of course, I follow. Tigers because they've had a great season, but it's the whole Little League World Series thing. I think is so amazing. The kids are hyped. Everything is cool and super exciting for them, and it's just a lot of fun to do. And I don't know. I Little League. If you've got a kid that's in Little League, cool. I love that because it is a neat thing. And yes, I realize like the travel and everything is killer, and I get that. And I'm not trying to stress you out. By the way, final story before the break. It is countdown to National Dog Day. National Dog Day coming up August 26th. And we would love here at the morning break with Rob Patz, we'd love to see your dog. So, hey, take a picture of your dog. We're going to be posting them from now until August 26th. When we come back, final story, it is an upbeat story. And we're all, I mean, I don't think there's a person watching right now who isn't excited about it. We'll do it right after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy, a life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Thanks again to the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. Remember, use the promo code ATV10 when you order. And I talked about it before the break. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a story that will make everyone excited, unless you're a kid. But for the first time in a long time, actually, we have seen the lowest prices of the summer and some of the lowest prices in 4 years for gas, which is awesome for those of you that are planning to go someplace over the long weekend, which was my tie-in there. And so super cool if you are going to do a road trip. And how many of you have done road trips over the holiday and sometimes you regret that? I know I do. We actually are staying an extra day. We are not coming home till Tuesday. So by the way, a little programming note, and I'll be reminding you guys, there will be no show on Friday. There will be no show on Monday or Tuesday because of the holiday. So no morning break on Friday. More than likely, no show on Friday as of right now. Because I got to pack. I do. I got to pack. We're going for the weekend, and I've got to pack. And the weather, which you see, by the way, on the tracker right now, the weather from Mackinac Island has been kind of up and down. So I've got to make sure I've got hoodies, t-shirts, and shorts because it's kind of Labor Day weekend in Michigan that you can need all of those things. The gas prices, by the way, the lowest in a number of years for August. It's the lowest point of this year also, but it also sets a record for the lowest numbers for gas in 4 years, which I think is super, super cool and super exciting for that because it's fun. And we're driving not to the island because you have to take a ferry, but we are driving, so it's kind of neat to be able to do that. Want to reiterate on a couple of things before we get out of here for today. One, we'd love for you to sign up for our Bible studies. Be watching the Abundant TV Facebook page for that. Also, remember to check out Act Social tomorrow morning. I get to be here with Jason Webb. Now, we start a little earlier for Thrive. So remember that we started 10 a.m. or thereabouts. It kind of depends. There have been days where we've had some technical issues, and normally those technical issues fall on yours truly. So, yeah. Hey, listen, I wanted to follow up on a story from yesterday. Yesterday was Stargazer night. And I'll tell you this, we tried to look and there was nothing. There was literally nothing that we could see. Weather here has been kind of interesting in Ohio the last few days, where it's not sure if it wants to rain, doesn't know if it wants to be sunny, doesn't know if it wants to be hot or cold. Last night, our low here was 61 degrees, yet it still feels muggy. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of just it's really having a hard time deciding. Of course, it's the time of year, and that's what's happening. By the way, though, I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, you can check me out on social media. I'm on here on YouTube, on well, let's go through all of them, because on here, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching me on LinkedIn. By the way, thank you so much. I wanted to say this. If you um are part of my circle on LinkedIn, thank you for watching. Holy cow, I was unexpected. I linked it just because I wanted to be on LinkedIn with something every day. But man, I appreciate it. Like a whole bunch of you. And I was like freaked out kind of that many people were watching on LinkedIn, but I appreciate it. Find me there on X. The X thing, do you want to just a little bit? My X is much more political than anything. So if that's not something that works for you, then probably you're not going to want to be on my X account. But I do have an X account. Find me on Instagram, much more calm there. Mostly pictures of cars, food, and where we are, which is always kind of fun. So you can check that out. By the way, hey, this is something, especially for the folks on Facebook. Kristen and I, over the long weekend, are going to pop on and do a couple lives while we're on Mackinac Island, get a chance for you to say hi to us and for us to say hi to you. And again, to kind of, man, to think of this will be our 4th anniversary. And for those of you that have followed the story, Chris and I had never been married and found each other. It has been incredible. We are both blessed. I'm of course more blessed than Kristen because she has to put up with me. So you can feel sorry for her. Please feel sorry for her if you want. And I'm sure she would tell you the same thing. But no, it has been amazing, and we're so excited and so thankful. So check that out on X. Also, though, the new one, and we're excited to be a corporate sponsor for Axe Social, and go to axsocial.com. And remember to add me and Kristen, both of us, as friends, and to join the Abundant group on there. Man, the time goes by way too fast. This is crazy. The time for this is just, I don't know. I have fun. You're probably over there going, I wish he'd stop. And that if that's the case, then I'm sorry. I enjoy this. I'm having a blast doing it. Enjoy the opportunity to be able, and it's very humbling to be able to do this every week with you, every day during the week. And man, it's so much fun, and I am so thankful. If you have any prayer requests or anything like that, drop them in the comments and we'll make sure to add you to our prayer list. Kristen and I have a prayer list that we do every night. We are doing a study. If you haven't watched our podcast, you can do that and listen to it. Actually, you can watch it too. No, you can't. I lied to you. I'm sorry. But you can listen to our podcast, find it on Abundant TV, on the Abundant app. Good night. It must be time to get out of here and go. So I will see you. It's been super fun. Another edition of Morning Break. I'm Rob Patz. We'll see you tomorrow.